We're following a breaking news alert now. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a transgender athlete ban for girls and women's sports teams. Let's get to Blake Easton at the WKRN.com alert desk.
Hey, good morning to you, Nikhil. Yeah, the Republican-led House passed this effort banning federally supported schools from allowing transgender athletes whose biological sex at birth was male to compete on women's sports teams. The 219 to 203 approved legislation in the House is unlikely to move any further in the Democrat-controlled Senate. Plus, the White House has already said it would veto it. Supporters of the legislation say it's necessary to ensure competitive fairness. They say it's not fair for female athletes to compete against those whose gender identity does not match their assigned sex at birth. Opponents criticize the bill, saying they're attacking a group who's already in a vulnerable position. For breaking news around the clock, you can always go to WKRN.com.
I want to go back to Riley Gaines now. Riley, this is...
Wow. Thank God. Also, the Republican Party of Montana is refusing for Representative Zoe Zephyr to speak, the only trans representative, by the way, to speak on any bill. My light is on, and I'm ready to speak on behalf of constituents who would like me to do so. There was also talk of censuring her in a similar, in the same vein as like the Tennessee 3. Why don't they ever talk about trans men competing in men's sports? They don't care. They don't even care about trans women competing with cis women. They just care about like transphobia and promoting it. And it's an effective, probably the most effective avenue to start the transphobic conversations, because there is a dual component there. It's not just transphobia, it's also misogynistic takes, you know what I mean? There's also validity to some of the arguments with respect to like potentially having a competitive advantage. And if you fucking hate trans people, then you look at that and you go, that's indecent. If you hate trans people, and then you go, oh, well, that's actually happening because men just want to fucking fake it. You know what I mean? That's it. It is at the center of like the intersectionality of hate. Trans women are on the receiving end of that. These are all the very same people who absolutely fucking despise women's sports in general and make fun of it, but act like they care when they want to concern troll when it means that they can like shit on trans people publicly. My argument has always been the same. 1, I don't care. 2, you shouldn't care either. And 3, the reason why you shouldn't care is because no one is fucking faking being trans and doing HRT specifically so they can get like maybe a marginal competitive advantage. You should not care about this because trans women are not as dominant as you think they are. They're the only time you hear about trans women competing is when like one of them gets like 5th place, or sometimes, luckily enough, get like 1st place. Okay, if that was the case, the 40 total trans athletes in this goddamn country would be fucking ripping nonstop. Okay, and that's not the case. You don't hear about it. I don't care. You can say you're tripping all you want. Marginal, haha, you're so brain dead, holy shit. Sports is supposed to be unequal, okay? Stop saying bad takes. Stop saying you're tripping. Every single one of you are so hyper geared towards this fucking argument because you literally cannot comprehend that, like, it doesn't matter. Sports is not supposed to be pushed with this like weird boundaries on what is allowed and what is not. Height in basketball is not a consideration you have. Messi taking HGH to overcome a hormone deficiency is not something that you ever think about with respect to like why it's allowed. LeBron James being 6'8" and having the grace of a fucking ballerina on the goddamn courts is not something that you ever think about. You don't make an advocacy for 6 foot and under basketball leagues. You only make an advocacy to change the makeup of like women's sports only when it means trans women might compete every now and then. That's it. That's it. You're advocating for equality of outcome. I don't care. Even if trans women were like profoundly dominant athletes, okay? Even if they have genuine fucking, like, even if they had genuine skill, okay? even if they were fucking awesome, like across the board, much better than cis women at these athletic endeavors, which is not the case, okay? The jury's out on that. That's not a 100%. Every time you fucking talk about this shit, you literally immediately think about like a person who is, that's a trash take, I'm out. Okay, dude, if you can't fucking listen to a person that's giving you something that you haven't heard before and be more open-minded about this kind of perspective, then you're the biggest pussy on the fucking planet, okay? You don't even need to take HRT. Okay? You don't even need to get a fucking vagioplasty. You're just one gigantic pussy. Okay? You hear a little bit of something that you consider to be controversial and it shakes you to the fucking core that you're like, I can't stand hearing this. Oh my God. It's so fucking annoying. It's like so sad. You're such a fucking pathetic loser that you can't even hear anything. You can't hear a fucking argument that doesn't correspond to your worldview, especially coming from someone who himself had transphobic opinions, like, and has talked about his understanding of trans issues. Like, this could be a fucking educational moment for you where you're like, oh, God forbid. God fucking forbid, dude. Holy shit. You are so unfunny, my dude. Me, I'm crying. That's what you sound like. This is what you fucking sound like. You're such a bitch, dude. You are such a fucking giant bitch. You're not funny. Oh, it hurts my feelings when you advocate for trans people. Meh. You are such a spineless fucking cuck. Okay? My point is this. Even if trans women have this like overwhelming physical advantage, which they do not, okay? It's not like it is absolutely 100% that like a trans woman will always defeat a cis woman in athletic endeavors no matter what fucking happens. This doesn't mean that like women are, this doesn't mean that like men on average don't have physical advantages over women on average. Of course they do, depending on what field we're talking about. We're not talking about, gymnasts or whatever, but if we're talking about like, especially combat sports and things of that nature, yes, cis men have advantages biologically on average, in comparison to cis women, okay? That's it. Everybody understands that. No one is fucking arguing against it. My point is beyond that. My point is this. Even if trans women, okay, who were assigned male at birth for an extended period of time, got some bone density out of having more testosterone course through their veins in their adolescence, okay? Even if they get that kind of advantage, if you want to consider that, and you thought that they were literally as dominant as the way Fox News presents it, okay? Not because they're like playing fucking pickleball in an Oklahoma facility, but like literally we're just like in the WNBA dunking on motherfuckers, okay? Even if that was happening, I still believe that that is fine, okay? I believe that that is fine. The only reason why you can't comprehend that is because you find it to be unnatural, because you find trans people to be unnatural and bad and wrong. Their existence to be bad and wrong. That's it. So cheating is fine. Like, you make it seem like it's cheating. Dude, please, dude. If you think it's cheating, do HRT, okay? If you personally think it's cheating, do HRT. Get literally fucking yelled at for existing for the rest of your goddamn life. Be on the fucking verge of suicide. Be fearful that you can't even fucking go to the grocery store and pick up groceries without someone being like, fuck you, okay, and try to kill you. And then maybe, just maybe, it's not a 100% given, you might actually win the fucking varsity swim meet. Suck my dick, dude. Nobody does this. It's the same exact principle behind how homophobes would say being gay is a choice. And then they would also simultaneously say it's somehow, even if it is a choice, which it's not, it's a bad thing. Okay? Is it? Suck a cock then. Choose to suck a cock. Put a dick in your ass. Okay? If it's a choice and you're making it, okay, go ahead. Take some HRT. I would love to see, how pretty you become after 2.5 years and 3.5 years of fucking taking HRT after undergoing rigorous psych evaluations over and over again. Okay? This person was not a top athlete in the division, in the male division, but dominant in the female. How can you argue that? Who is the person we're talking about? Who? What are you talking about? Like what? First of all, I haven't even brought up an example of an athlete. You are literally arguing against an example that you think I'm going to bring up. I have not. I'm just simply talking about trans athletes competing with cis athletes in general. There is no specific person that I have discussed, okay? And you just, shadow box with someone that you made up? Now, having said that, you are missing the point. I don't care if a above average assigned male at birth athlete is performing significantly better as a trans woman. Okay, once they undergo HRT, they're a trans woman, they come out and they're competing against cis women. I don't care. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay? I don't. Was thinking like Leah Thomas. That's a wonderful fucking take. Leah Thomas got 5th place, was that fucking fraud that now has made a career out of complaining about that. Leah Thomas got fucking owned by 4 other cis women. There you go. Name the fucking first place winner in that competition without Googling in the next 10 seconds. You can't. Name the second place competitor without Googling it. You can't. Name the third place. Name the fourth place. You can't. She got 5th fucking place. You think that's dominant? You have been duped into thinking that Leah Thomas is this like dominant fucking athlete. She's not. She's not. Wasn't that girl arguing that they tied a competition? Yeah. 5th place, motherfucker. There were 4 other cis women. It's not like 1, 2, 3, and 4 were fucking trans women too. Yeah. You couldn't even answer what I said. You don't know who the first place is. You don't know who the second place is. You don't know who the third place is. You don't know who the 4th place is. All of those are cis women. Why? 5th place tie. And this dumbass can't stop fucking chirping. Riley Gaines. God damn. Yeah. And the other part of this is that Leah Thomas actually, before her transition, was a pretty decent fucking swimmer. She was ranked 32nd in the nation before transition, only dropped to under 500 during her transition. That's the other reality. Leah Thomas was a better swimmer when, before she actually fucking underwent HRT. She nerfed herself, okay? And now she's like losing. Now she's losing to cis women. So what happened? Yeah, let's be also, this is the other side of it. And I will never, ever, ever forgive any of you fucking freak anti-trans perverts for making me learn about the NCAA female division of swimming. I hate you. I hate you to the fucking very bottom of my heart. Not even because you're transphobic, okay? Transphobia is fucked up. But you know what is more fucked up than that? Making me learn about competitive NCAA female swimming. Making me learn about competitive NCAA male swimming is fucked up. But holy fuck! I could have done without having a single piece of this information in my mind for the rest of my goddamn life. And now I have to know about all this shit. Fuck you. I hate you so much. This trans woman got 5th place and motherfuckers never shut the fuck up. Same with the same lady who was in the UFC, the one that like Joe Rogan constantly talks about. She won one fucking fight, dog. One. And then she got her shit pushed in nonstop. Fallon Fox got owned over and over again by cis women. No one knows this because Joe Rogan only talked about the one time that she won. So now it doesn't even fucking matter. She was never in the UFC. Okay, whatever. The one fucking time. Oh. She was 5-1 in her career and retired. She lost once in 5. Was it the other lady who got fucking owned then? Was it? There's one of the 2 trans fighters that people talk about all the time actually got fucking owned. And you're making it seem like 5 is an amateur with no fucking, it's not even a knockout if I'm not mistaken. You're making it seem like she was fucking throwing daggers. Okay? Remember that lady being pissed off because a trans woman was doing well on Jeopardy? Yeah. That was also insane. Anyway. It's like, what are you trying to say? It's always like weird TERFs too, who literally will be like, oh, this is a trans woman. That's why they have a, what, advantage? Are you saying that men are just smarter than women inherently? Like, what kind of fucking dumb shit is this? They'd be like, she's a man. Anyway. It's incredibly rare and it isn't worth the lives. It is costing to have this discussion. Exactly. The irony is that there have been like what? 56 fucking bills that have passed or slated to pass in state legislatures that range all the way from barring trans girls from competing in high school athletics all the way to college, that range from that to like consenting adults are no longer able to get HRT in the state without criminal punishments. You know what I mean? And it's insane. It's completely insane. It's just the Trojan horse. Okay. At some point, it might not be rare. That's not, it's bullshit. That's a bullshit fucking argument. Okay. I don't get how top 5 is bad, even if you consider differences in the time. Dude, what are you saying? Leah Thomas's fucking record before she went under HRT was faster than Leah Thomas's record after HRT. The reason why she started when she was competing in the men's division, after she started taking HRT, was like her record started getting owned. Her record started getting eviscerated. And yeah, her records, sorry, her times, not records. And another thing that's like frustrating about this, oh yeah, here. Laurel Hubbard, transgender weightlifter, exits Olympic competition early after failing on all 3 attempts. Remember when this happened? Laurel Hubbard, a transgender weightlifter for New Zealand, was knocked out of the women's 87 plus kilogram competition early after failing on all 3 of her attempts. You know what they said about this? They said she faked it. They said she actually failed deliberately so that trans women can compete. I remember. They either said, A, she actually failed deliberately. She threw so that like trans women can fucking compete in athletic competitions in the future. Or they literally said she took the spot from a cis woman who could have performed better than her. And it's like, that's not the case. She beat everybody else to get there. What the fuck do you mean? Statistically, if trans women were biologically identical to cis women, they would win some percentage of sporting events, and the amount of sporting events being won by trans women is way lower than their prevalence in society. It's such an insane argument. Like, if trans women were so dominant in the way that like a lot of transphobic people represent in this conversation, they would be owning nonstop. You wouldn't have to go to like a fucking pickleball tournament in Oklahoma to like draw up an argument of like a trans woman actually performing really well in athletic competitions. That's it. It's crazy. Cis women usually have higher T than trans women. It's actually insane that people think they have an argument. Yeah, when they find out about that, though, they change the argument real quick to bone density. Like, that's it. There are certain differences. Obviously, there are going to be certain, like, bodily differences between a trans woman and a cis woman, okay? Some of which are actually worse off for the for particular competitions that trans women might engage in with respect to cis women. Of course there's differences. But it doesn't matter. Yo, Hasan, it's Gabriel. You reacted to my song Sassy Shooters. I have information you'd like to know. Like what? Holy fuck. Account created in 2008. Jesus Christ. I highly doubt that. That seems incredibly sus. Like anyone who thinks that someone is going to like become trans, quote unquote, become trans, specifically to win like high school or college swim meets is fucking delusional, okay? It's the same level of delusion that people have for claiming that like trans women claim that they're women specifically so they can go into women's bathrooms and do rapes. It's like, bro, if someone is a fucking rapist, they don't give a shit about the sign that says women or men outside of the goddamn bathroom. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, it blows my mind. I don't understand how someone says that. Someone verify with this chatter, one of the mods, if you can. What he's talking about. The irony, of course, for the record, the irony, of course, let me tell you, is that if trans women were as dominant as the way that they fucking, as the way that these people claim that they are, then trans women competing against cis women in athletic competitions would unironically draw more eyeballs to the athletic endeavors and would literally lead to more, advertising dollars, more people watching, even if it's for the sake of spectacle, which, by the way, it's not the case. Okay? And that is the hilarious part of this conversation. But like, no one cares. No one personally fucking cares about women's sports. That's the real issue here. No one cares about trans people in general either. And that's why, these people feel comfortable doing this to Representative Zoe Zephyr in Montana's 100th House District.